So I'm profitable today, but I probably shouldn't be. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about managing drawdown and some amazing things that I've learned about really adding to losers. I was always told that like you can never add to losers. But there's a difference between adding to a losing trade and adding in a new spot that improves your trade, or scrapping some trades that are in the red to overall look at the big picture and make you green. And that's what really happened to me today. I found myself in a little bit of drawdown, but I found opportunities where I could exit at a small loss, re-enter, and then the overall trade process ended up being green for me. And the ability to have these dynamic stop losses and these dynamic profits have really helped my trading. And I will say this, if you are trading prop firms, this is almost impossible to do if you are trading minis. Since I made the trade to micros like 3 weeks ago, my red days are down, my green days are better because I'm able to let some trades breathe. I'm able to take a little bit of drawdown that I was not able to take when I was trading minis. Things go bad, they go bad quickly. As Warren Buffett says, you want your first entry really to be your worst entry. I want my first entry to be my worst trade. And when I was trading minis, I found that if I wasn't perfect, if my entry wasn't perfect, and I was just a touch early, I would have to stop out. And then immediately after I stopped out, it would go the way I wanted to do. And if you're finding this is happening, I mean, I can't recommend enough now. For years, I've been trading minis and just blowing up accounts. And this consistency now that I'm trading micros is just insane. Let's talk first about the day and the setup that I wanted to have. Had an ATR earlier in the day of 900, so pretty much at market open, we were ready to rock. The range on the full day ended up being 790. We can see that right here was yesterday's session high. Yesterday's session low was actually way down here, I believe. Yep, way down here. We didn't even touch that because we had that boost right at the end of the day yesterday. Pretty much our 233 trend line was kind of just hanging out all through the middle of the day here. And we can also see one of the mistakes I made is I do not trade out of day up. And we can see that we opened inside yesterday's range. And really, frankly, I wasn't paying attention. All of these trades up here on the 30-minute time frame, you could see those entries and exits. They were all out of day up, where I personally do not want to take shorts when we are out of yesterday's range to the upside. So that was really the first mistake. But now in hindsight, I can see how I got myself into trouble in the first place, because if I would have been sitting on my hands, I wouldn't have entered these trades. So I think first and foremost is understanding your plan for the day and having set rules. My rule is really no shorts on out of day up. We are outside that range. Luckily, like I said, this was all about a day that I was lucky to survive. You can see that I was up total on the day of $202.78. So across all 10 accounts, about 280. Right now I have my Lucid accounts that are at 142. I just started them yesterday. My Apex accounts are up 62 to 69, nice, to $70 depending on the slippage on my trade copier. I got about 3 weeks left to pass the Apex. The good thing about Lucid is I can just pass those as slow as I want. After my first trade, I was in the green, I think like $60. And then, like I said, my max drawdown on the day, I got up to 3 lots, and we'll talk about them. So 3 micros. The most I was ever in the red was about $160 on the day, which with a daily risk budget of 200 to 250, really 200, I was well within my means, where if I was not, and I was trading minis, that's a $1,500 red. I would never be able to allow myself to go into a $1,500 red position. Let's scroll back to the early mornings and we'll see my first couple of trades, as I like to do every day. If you have any questions about this chart or anything, I do tend to talk about them on a regular basis, but if you need any questions, please let me know. I want to make sure that I'm clear and concise with you guys, and definitely want to get some more comments inside the comment section and get some more engagement. So the market is now open. So my goal here, as always, I'm going long on my -2, targeting VWAP, and we can see how this plays out. I was in this trade for a little bit. Keeps going, chopped around, still taking a little bit of heat, right? I'm long there, but with the micros, I don't need to worry about anything. This was like $20 in the red. I added another one, so we started to create some swing lows, a little bit of a bid area. So I was like, okay, I feel comfortable. 3 lots is my max, but I felt comfortable in this zone with what was happening in the day. That's part of like your fluency in the market, if you will. I was able to add another contract there. Now I know that I probably am going to exit. Don't love having 2 on, but I will definitely take a little bit of profit when I can, especially on the first trade of the day. A little bit of heat, a little bit of chopping around. Came down and hit the -2s. If I was sitting on my hands a little bit, I would have entered there. I ended up adding a third right there. So now I know having 3 on is not something that I love. So we're probably going to see an exit here soon. I covered right there, back pretty much line to line, -2 to -1. Perfect execution right there on that trade. So if I would have waited till about 10 a.m., I would have had my first good trade. So I still have 2 on. Took my second one when it came back up. It actually hit that. So now I still have 1 on. And then I took right here at this swing high. I was comfortable with where I was at on those 3. A profitable trade. All 3 of these were inside the profit. So we took a little bit of heat here and I got out, but the sum of these 2 and this overall ended up being a profitable trade. But this was very, very manageable. This was not in a spot where I was like my heart was beating. I was very methodical about these entries and I was very good. Now, for some, if I wasn't in an evaluation, $70 on the day across 10 accounts, $770, I'd probably be done for the day. There is a little bit of urgency with the Apex accounts to get done now in 30 days because there's no subscription model. That's really the only reason why I continue to trade on the day. We can see I went long here now at the -1. I'm going to be targeting VWAP. And once again, not going line to line, just being okay with things. Right here at that swing, you can see that's where I took off another trade. So now I'm watching the markets and pretty much now I'm looking for a +1 or a -1 to enter short or long. And at this point is where I should have looked over at the 30-minute and realized that we were now out of day up. This probably should not have been a trade for me. And if I wouldn't have, I would have been up $70-something on the day and that would have been fine, but I ended up going short. Now here's where managing losses is going to come into play and where you have to do this. Right now I'm in at pretty much 821. So if you think about this, every 100 points is going to be $50 that I'm in the red. So we have to get all the way up to 921 right here. So at this point here, I'm only $50 in the red, and this has gone against me. Now, because this is a -1, I'm not in like, oh, we're screwed, because I had a resting order, which they don't show the resting orders. I probably had a resting order at the +2 to enter again with my second lot. Boom, there it is. So I'm not worried right now, but now I'm in for 2. So now every point is $1. So I'm down 50, but now every point, instead of being 50, every 100 points being $50, now every point is worth $100. And here's where things started to go. It chopped around a little bit, and then boom, we're starting to dive outside the +2s. I ended up adding 1 more, so now I'm on my 3, and this was probably a range trader kind of order. Yep, it was. We see on the range trader where we got right to the top of these wicks. That's where I entered again. And that was going to be my 3rd one at the top of that range. And we can see immediately went against me. Came back in. I took 1 off. So this is what I'm talking about. Even though I entered here, right? And this is first in, first out. This cover right here is a loss, okay? This is a loss that I was unwilling. I would have held this until the 3 shorts that I had, until that was break even. That break even line was probably down in here somewhere, okay? But what I'm thinking now, and here's where my mindset shifts, and this is really what I want you to take away from the video, is by exiting here and washing away this -1, I know that I can now re-enter because I have 3 lots allowed to me. So this is 2. I now can add a 3rd, which is going to move my break even line from what was here. Upon that 3rd, will now move my break even to here, and I bring it higher into the +2s, higher into that standard deviation. So now when the trade does, if it goes in my favor, I'm going to be able to recuperate that loss from that 1 lot pretty quickly. So that's the mindset there. Get out, take a small loss, which I never wanted to take losses, knowing that I had another entry point. If this was going to continue to go up and down, I was going to get back in. And there it is. Soon as it hit that second +2, I'm in again now for 3. And my break even on the average of these 3 is pretty much right here. So all I needed to do is dip down even to my trend line at the EMA, and I'm going to be in the profit and starting to get back and recoup some of these losses from this first in, first out trade. And we just chopped around. This was brutal to watch. It chopped around. Oh, it felt like forever. It went back up. A little bit of heat. Still chopping. And then boom. So right here, I was like, okay, we've chopped a little bit. These swing lows started to happen. We started to see a little bit of support at that level. I'm like, let's take one off because this deviation line is continuing to climb. So same exact philosophy. But we can see on this first in, first out, this was a pretty big gap. I entered at 824 and I was out at 942. Okay, so about a $50 loss there. But now this first in, first out, that was pretty much a scratch. So I broke even. I have 2 lots on, and my break even price is now right up here at this third one that I had. So now after I did that, I knew that once again, just like before, if it came back up to the +2s, I was going to re-enter and better my position, or it was going to go in my favor and I'm good to go. And it went in my favor. I saw the swing low here and I took that swing low and I'm like, sweet. So now we have a profit from here down to here. I'm getting myself back into the green. And right now I have 1 left, and that 1 left is right up here at 20. So now if we get down to that +1 again, we Gucci. Boom. And it hit the +1 right after that. And that was the last trade. So this went from being down 150, and then I took a loss, and then boom. Now, I will say that sometimes I add that third lot on, and it continues to pump, right? But that's a situation, and that's why we have daily loss limits. That's why we limit ourselves. Is there a chance that with a 3 lot and being down 150, it could have climbed another 100 points against me, and I would have got canceled out for my max loss of the day? Yes, that is absolutely possible. In my experience, it does not happen very often. But if I would have just said, hey, I'm in down here, let's close this trade, I'm out. And now I don't have any other trades on to recoup some of those losses. I have to get another entry. So that's just been the ability to take this first loss and know that I'm going to better my situation. This is 10:34 and I'm out now at 12:07. So this was almost an hour and a half of managing this trade on and off. The markets continue to go, and I'm done for the day. I'm like, okay, I was up $70. I'm now in the green. And that's when I realized, oh crap. That's when I looked over here like, oh, let's look for our next setup. And I was like, oh crap, we are at a day up. So I am done for the day. So right now, good to go. I have all the time in the world to spend on these Lucid accounts. So right now at 142, that's got a $1,200 profit. The Apex, I got to get to $1,500 and I have to do so by April 2nd. If I don't get there by April 1st, April 2nd is going to be a YOLO day. We'll throw some minis on and we'll mess around. Hopefully we won't have to do that, guys. If you do have any questions, like I said, please leave them down in the description below. And I'll either link a video that I've already explained it, or I'll be happy to answer that question or make a new video answering that question. I want to do this together. We're learning. This is going to be awesome. We're gonna be okay. But if you want to be okay, you have to have risk under control and you have to get away from minis, and you probably should get away from the NQ. All right? I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully another green day.